Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today. In this video we're going to be reacting to another comedy from George Carlin. Carlin? I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. This was a request following my reaction to his one on social issues, which I thought was actually quite interesting. I found him brutally honest, brutally funny. He doesn't cut corners, does he? He tells you straight, which I thought was quite interesting. All right. I think the reason I say that is because a lot of the comedians, they kind of stray like very close to the line, and some of them when they cross the line it can be a little bit tricky sometimes, but his one, there is something quite intriguing about him. He doesn't say it as, it doesn't just say it as comedy. He's like a philosopher. Somebody kind of pointed out there, and I thought, that's actually a very good point. All right, first I carry on rambling on. Let's see what he's got to say. Come on, without any further ado, let's go, people.
But in the bullshit department, a businessman can't hold a candle to a clergyman. Because I got to tell you the truth, folks. I got to tell you the truth. When it comes to bullshit, big time, major league bullshit, you have to stand in awe of the all-time champion of false promises and exaggerated claims, religion. No contest. No contest. Religion easily has the greatest bullshit story ever told. Think about it. Religion has actually convinced people that there's an invisible man living in the sky who watches everything you do every minute of every day. And the invisible man has a special list of 10 things he does not want you to do. And if you do any of these 10 things, he has a special place full of fire and smoke and burning and torture and anguish, where he will send you to live and suffer and burn and choke and scream and cry forever and ever till the end of time. But he loves you.
When you put it like that, I was gonna say it sounds like Santa, but when you put it like that, whoa. People are gonna get offended by this. I'm so sorry, guys.
He loves you. He loves you, and he needs money. He always needs money. He's all powerful, all perfect, all knowing, and all wise. Somehow, just can't handle money. Religion takes in billions of dollars. They pay no taxes, and they always need a little more. Now, you talk about a good bullshit story. Holy shit.
Oh, dear. No, I can't disagree with that.
Thank you very much.
What happened there? Oh,
This game,
no game.
you're not.
But I want you to know something. This is sincere. I want you to know, when it comes to believing in God, I really tried. I really tried. I tried to believe that there is a God who created each of us in his own image and likeness, loves us very much, and keeps a close eye on things. I really tried to believe that, but I gotta tell you, the longer you live, the more you look around, the more you realize something is fucked up. Something is wrong here. War, disease, death, destruction, hunger, filth, poverty, torture, crime, corruption, and the ice capades. Something is definitely wrong. This is not good work. If this is the best God can do, I am not impressed. Results like these do not belong on the resume of a supreme being. This is the kind of shit you'd expect from an office temp with a bad attitude. Well, just between you and me, in any decently run universe, this guy would have been out on his all-powerful ass a long time ago. And by the way, I say this guy because I firmly believe, looking at these results, that if there is a God, it has to be a man. No woman could or would ever fuck things up like this. If there is a God, if there is, I think most reasonable people might agree that he's at least incompetent and maybe, just maybe, doesn't give a shit. Doesn't give a shit, which I admire in a person and which would explain a lot of these bad results. So rather than be just another mindless religious robot, mindlessly and aimlessly and blindly believing that all of this is in the hands of some spooky, incompetent father figure who doesn't give a shit, I decided to look around for something else to worship, something I could really count on. And immediately, I thought of the sun. Happened like that. Overnight, I became a sun worshiper. Well, not overnight, you can't see the sun at night. But first thing the next morning, I became a sun worshiper. Several reasons. First of all, I can see the sun. Okay? Yep. Unlike some other gods I could mention, I can actually see the sun. I'm big on that. If I can see something, I don't know, kind of helps the credibility along, you know? So every day I can see the sun as it gives me everything I need: heat, light, food, flowers in the park, reflections on the lake, an occasional skin cancer, but hey, at least there are no crucifixions, and we're not setting people on fire simply because they don't agree with us. Sun worship is fairly simple. There's no mystery, no miracles, no pageantry, no one asks for money, there are no songs to learn, and we don't have a special building where we all gather once a week to compare clothing. And the best...
Oh my days. You know, I'm struggling. I'm struggling. I find this comedy absolutely amazing, by the way. I think the way he puts it is absolutely brilliant. Don't get me wrong. I'm struggling because Christianity on its own, with a lot of the gimmicky Christians out there, and the church is constantly trying to get private jets for their preachers and all that sort of nonsense, which you can tell is all robbery, by the way. As a Christian myself, I say that's robbery, and that's not Christianity. People that are unbelievers, when they see stuff like this, it makes sense though. What he's going on there does make sense, isn't it? I just thought I'd kind of putting that out there.
The best thing about the sun, it never tells me I'm unworthy. Doesn't tell me I'm a bad person who needs to be saved. Hadn't said an unkind word. Treats me fine. So I worship the sun. But I don't pray to the sun. Know why? I wouldn't presume on our friendship. It's not polite. I've often thought people treat God rather rudely, don't you? Asking trillions and trillions of prayers every day, asking and pleading and begging for favors. Do this, give me that, I need a new car, I want a better job. And most of this praying takes place on Sunday, his day off. It's not nice, and it's no way to treat a friend. But people do pray, and they pray for a lot of different things. You know, your sister needs an operation on her crotch. Your brother was arrested for defecating in a mall. But most of all, you'd really like to fuck that hot little redhead down at the convenience store. You know, the one with the eye patch and the club foot, huh? Can you pray for that? I think you'd have to. And I say, fine, pray for anything you want. Pray for anything. But what about the divine plan? Remember that? The divine plan. Long time ago, God made a divine plan. Gave it a lot of thought, decided it was a good plan, put it into practice. And for billions and billions of years, the divine plan has been doing just fine. Now you come along and pray for something. Well, suppose the thing you want isn't in God's divine plan. What do you want him to do? Change his plan? Just for you? Doesn't it seem a little arrogant? It's a divine plan. What's the use of being God if every rundown schmuck with a $2 prayer book can come along and fuck up your plan? And here's something else, another problem you might have. Suppose your prayers aren't answered. What do you say? Well, it's God's will. Thy will be done. fine. But if it's God's will and he's going to do what he wants to anyway, why the fuck bother praying in the first place? Seemed like a big waste of time to me. Couldn't you just skip the praying part and go right to his will? It's all very confusing. So to get around a lot of this, I decided to worship the sun. But as I said, I don't pray to the sun. You know who I pray to? Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci.
Who's that?
Joe Pesci. 2 reasons. First of all, I think he's a good actor, okay? To me, that counts. Second, he looks like a guy who can get things done. Joe Pesci doesn't fuck around. Doesn't fuck around. In fact, Joe Pesci came through on a couple of things that God was having trouble with. For years, I asked God to do something about my noisy neighbor with the barking dog. Joe Pesci straightened that cocksucker out with 1 visit. It's amazing what you can accomplish with a simple baseball bat. So I've been praying to Joe for about a year now. And I noticed something. I noticed that all the prayers I used to offer to God and all the prayers I now offer to Joe Pesci are being answered at about the same 50% rate. Half the time I get what I want, half the time I don't. Same as God, 50-50. Same as the 4-leaf clover and the horseshoe, the wishing well and the rabbit's foot. Same as the mojo man. Same as the voodoo lady who tells you your fortune by squeezing the goat's testicles. It's all the same, 50-50. So just pick your superstition, sit back, make a wish, and enjoy yourself. And for those of you who look to the Bible for moral lessons and literary qualities, I might suggest a couple of other stories for you. You might want to look at The 3 Little Pigs. That's a good one. Has a nice, happy ending. I'm sure you'll like that. Then there's Little Red Riding Hood, although it does have that X-rated part where the big bad wolf actually eats the grandmother, which I didn't care for, by the way. And finally, I've often always drawn a great deal of moral comfort from Humpty Dumpty. The part I like the best, all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. That's because there is no Humpty Dumpty and there is no God. None, not one, no God, never was. In fact, I'm gonna put it this way. If there is a God, may he strike this audience dead. See, nothing happened. Nothing happened.
It's amazing how he did say, I thought he was going to say if there is a God, let him strike him down. Not the audience. He wanted to see it.
Everybody's okay? All right? Tell you what. I'll raise the stakes. I'll raise the stakes a little bit. If there is a God, may he strike me dead.
Oh, okay.
See? Nothing happened. Oh, wait, got a little cramp in my leg. And my balls hurt. Plus, I'm blind. Oh, now I'm okay again. Must have been Joe Pesci, huh? God bless Joe Pesci. Thank you all very much. Joe bless you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Oh my days. Oh gosh. You know what? I was just thinking, you know those religious people that get offended by everything and don't think logically, just like most of society these days, isn't it? Not thinking logically. As a Christian myself, I believe that there are things that are beyond our understanding. That's my belief. And I believe that those things that are beyond our understanding, science have not been able to explain it, which only leaves possibility for the option that there is God. And because we're humans, it's understandable that we try and believe in what we can understand. For example, if I wake up in the morning and I want to go to work, I get in the car and drive to work. And some people would say, okay, for that reason, I'm going to believe in metal, because metal used for certain things. I'm just using all of this as examples, by the way. I'm not saying I do that. His comedy there is absolutely spot on. Do you know why I say spot on? The aspect I say spot on is the fact that the way a lot of the preachers are making God sound and look like is that he's a thirsty being, is a thirsty supreme being that needs your resources because he hasn't got his own. This idea of tithing, and that's the only way that God blesses you, is so misinterpreted. And this is the danger, isn't it? Because we see that just even outside of the Bible, you see how things are manipulated to fit a certain narrative. But what can you manipulate the most? Oh, yeah, the Bible. Let's manipulate that to drain money off the people that can afford it. Isn't it interesting that we've got mega churches everywhere, not going to mention any names, that rein in so much money, but yet the level of deprivation in a lot of their members is so high, it's ridiculous. Yes, a lot of things need to be done by the government and stuff like that in terms of making sure that it provides for its citizens. Yes, I get that. But for today, we're just going to pack that for today. And just focus on how religion is being used to drain people of their funds. It doesn't bode well to people, unbelievers, that are trying to come into the faith, because all they see is, oh, the pastor just needs money off me. God, this is what he preaches and stuff like that. When that's not really the true religion. The true religion it says things completely differently. The true religion teaches you about Christ, teaches you about the greatest lesson from it is love. How one person is able to submit themselves for the benefit of another. That's the most crucial aspect of the Bible. Love. How one loves you so much that he submits their child to you. By one, I mean God. Love is the greatest lesson on the Bible. But that's not preached so much past, oh yeah, let's you got to bring that money because that's the only way you got to get blessed. You got to bring that money because that's the only way God's going to listen to you. All that is so wrong. It's so wrong. And yeah. He doesn't hold back. I like that. But you got to be careful. In this day and age, I don't think a lot of his comedy would have been able. I suppose he would have to do what Tom MacDonald does, be his own person to be able to push his own stuff, not rely on the system to be able to push his stuff, because I think a lot of this would not have passed. Even though they're true, a lot of it, obviously the idea of there is no God, I don't agree with that bit, because I do believe that there is. But obviously people have got their own belief, and it's a journey that people need to take on their own. We can't work that journey for somebody else. You have to find your own path. If you believe, you don't believe, like they say, God works in mysterious way and visit people where they're most in need. Not in need as the way we see it, but all right. Let me know in the comment section below your views on it. I think it was actually interesting. I'm gonna definitely check more of his stuff out. I think somebody said they sent me a list. In case you're listening, I never actually saw the list that you sent. I don't know what happened to that, but I'm gonna keep looking for more of his stuff. If you could put it in the community tab, I'm gonna try and open one up where you could just kind of like put your preferences, and I will try and respond to them as quickly as possible. All right, it's been longer than I thought it would be. If you like what we're all about, please like, subscribe, and join our community. And until next time, guys, it's been Kings. Peace. Bye for now.